Hello and welcome to the Dominion League, Season 51, D Division. We narrowly avoided demotion last season, so let's see how we do this time around. We are playing against Triple Range Merge, and this is the first kingdom up for you here, the first league with allies in it. There are no allies cards here though, so let's see what we could do with this kingdom. So, my first thought was upgrade is good and you could trash cards with it. There are no villages except for the necropolis, so that is going to be a bit cumbersome to build here. But maybe you could connect it with a council room and then get some artificer action. You could discard some cards and gain things with artificer. Maybe it really is hamstrung by the lack of action in the kingdom. Exorcist will help to trash and get you wisps. And Imp, importantly, Imp is non-terminal draw in the kingdom, which is vital given that we are lacking actions. So let's see how we build up from here. So triple range, merge opens with an Exorcist. I like the Exorcist. I also open with an Exorcist. And they go for Exorcist Expedition here. Obviously, you take the 2 points from the arena there, right? The necropolis isn't doing anything for you, so you might as well get 2 points from it. Now, I saw the expedition and I thought, okay, I think I know why they buy the expedition there. To try to hit 5 to get the upgrade was my thought, right? Now, I looked at their hand, there's 7 cards in it, and they bought an Exorcist. So, Exorcist doesn't help you get to 5, and there's still 3 shelters in there, so I decided to get 5 coin in 7 cards with 4 cards that do not help you get to 5. That might be too unlikely for my taste. So I decided for the silver instead of the expedition here. If they get the 5 without having to buy the silver, I imagine they'll be very, very happy about that. But honestly, I don't know how likely it is. It didn't seem like a road I wanted to go down. So I took the silver, took the safer route, and I have my 5 here, so rewarded, hooray. Necropolis comes down for triple range merge. So already that tells me, okay, one of the 7 is not treasure. What about the other 6? And no, no 5. No 5. Now, maybe they had a plan. If I don't hit 5, I could get something else on 4. So let's see what they get on the 4 here. They get another expedition. So 2 successive expeditions. The Exorcist doesn't even trash one of the shelters. So they opted there to take the 2 points. They could have trashed the necropolis if they wanted. So I see in this thing or thought that they wanted to keep the necropolis for the same reason I wanted to keep the necropolis. It's the only source of plus action, and I could use it later on. Okay, so I get to my 5. We get the upgrade. We move on. They discard the necropolis 3 times now. Power of expedition, right? Gets you those arena points. And still no 5 for them because recall the Exorcist had trashed a copper the last turn, so it's even less likely now they get the 5 with this expedition, I think. Although they would have known their hand, so they could have bought that expedition, more judiciously. I mean, they could have known they was more likely to get the 5 given the cards they saw in that initial 7. Anyways, they go for an expedition. I go for an expedition here on my 3 because I don't really want anything else on 3. And I would much rather see my upgrade. So upgrade will take a card out of my hand, and then I want the Exorcist to also trash one of the shelters, and I still want to be able to buy something good, so I need a big hand size for that, is why I went for the expedition there. Necropolis, this Necropolis 4 times, discarded to arena, 8 points. Good job, Necropolis. That's probably the most points any Necropolis has ever scored ever. And yet another expedition. So these have been 3 successive expeditions for triple range merge, triple expedition merge, haha. And this time they get a wisp though, so it's a little bit different. Now the wisp can draw coppers, and the deck only has the Exorcist in it that the wisp cannot draw. So here I opt to keep my Necropolis. We spoke about that. We want to keep it for some actions. And I could buy something for 4 here and trash a copper, or I could buy a 5 cost. I go for the 5 cost, I take the upgrade, sad Exorcist, but trade-off, right? That's the trade-off I decided to make there. Alright, so the Wisp here, see, draws the Necropolis. I think they have 1 Wisp, yeah, maybe 1 Wisp. And they get to 5, finally. And they get our market. And here's where I started to realize what was happening. I didn't see it at the beginning of the kingdom. You already probably saw it, because you are sharper Dominion players than I am. There is Artificer and Faithful Hound on the board, so you could discard all the dogs and then trigger them, have them stay out of the deck, and then at the start of your next turn, they all come into your hand. Good stuff, right? The free discard fodder for Artificer. So when they bought the market, I said, okay, you want hounds? Why do you want hounds? We already discarded all the points to the arena. Why would you want the hound? Oh, Artificer can discard hound as well. Okay, I see what's happening. That was probably word for word my thought process. Anyways, so out comes the market. Now I'm a little bit behind, right? Because they will buy 2 hounds here. Well, they could go for another expedition. I'm not sure what they are feeling like, but I think 2 hounds is reasonable here. Yeah, 2 hounds is reasonable. Plus, they get another wisp, so that's great for them. I start to get hounds with my upgrades. Unfortunately, it means that the Exorcist will not be able to trash them for wisps, but I need to make up some lost ground here, I think. Again, I am left with the option of trashing this Necropolis with the Exorcist. I choose not to, and I go ahead and pick up an expedition here, I believe. This could have been another silver, and still I could have trashed the copper. I think I will trash the copper anyway with the Exorcist. So it's between silver and expedition here for me. I also considered Oasis briefly because the Oasis can discard the Hound as well. But in the end, I decided to go for the expedition. Because there is arena on the board, I don't need the Oasis to discard the Hound. You could always trigger arena even though it won't give you any points. So one of my hounds will be discarded somehow. Alright, so the Wisps start to pull their hand for triple range merge. And they get up to 5 again here after some Wisps draw and Faithful Hound draw. So this is going to be the Artificer for them. Yeah, the jig is definitely up, and they trash a copper with the Exorcist. Alright, so I have my upgrade. I draw into a copper. I'm also looking to get an Artificer myself. How do I go about doing this? Alright, so I just trash a copper here. I have the 5. I could draw on with the Faithful Hound. I know in the back is an upgrade and a Hound. So I could draw into the other Hound and then discard it to the arena. You know, get a little more cycling in. I said, you know what, let's just leave it at that for now. And I could go ahead and get my Artificer here, or I could buy another expedition, trash the silver to gain an imp. Few options are here, right? A few options are here. I could even trash the Hound to gain a wisp and buy an Artificer. So quite a few things. In the end, I decided to discard the Hound. I'll want it. I go for the expedition, and I trash the silver to gain an imp with the Exorcist. Why? We just spoke about the Artificer. I am going to get my Artificer via upgrade of the Exorcist. That is how I'm going to do it, and I will trash the remaining coppers with the other upgrade. That is my plan from here. Alright, so triple range gets these nice wisps going. Their deck is mostly low cost things, so it's not surprising that these wisps draw extra cards. They discard their Hound in the buy phase with Arena. And they get up to 4. I think they have 5 here. They're just holding back, thinking if they want to trash, yeah, a copper like they did here, and another expedition for them. Alright, so Imp finds the upgrade, and I upgrade the Exorcist as we planned into the Artificer. Trash a copper with this upgrade, and now this Artificer will gain me another Hound, I believe. No. I do something else here because I want to get a 5 cost and I don't have money. So I discard 1 Hound, a Necropolis, and a copper to top deck a silver. And if I'm lucky, I draw into no, I don't even need to be lucky. I just draw the silver and I get to 5 again. So fine. That's great. And I get a market here. So I could start buying hounds. They're very cheap. And I have the money to get 2 hounds here. Alright, so back to triple range. Artificer comes out. They have their almost their whole deck in their hand, so probably they have both hounds in play. I think here they discard 2 hounds to gain another hound. And that hound sits on top of the deck, of course. And they are able to buy another Artificer here, I believe, is the play they make. I'm not entirely certain. We stop and we think for a bit here because the turns are getting longer as we have more and more options. Yeah. So 2 hounds are discarded to gain another hound. Here's the market. Arena discards the newly gained hound, and here's 5. Could be double hound, could be expedition hound. They instead opt for another artificer. So the second artificer, I'm not too sure about that. It is useful if you want to gain multiple things. If you have, 6 hounds, you could use 1 artificer, discard 3, gain a 3 cost, and then use the other one to discard 3 more hounds, gain another 3 cost. Maybe they have some ideas like that, really, because the hounds are cheap, right? And they have 3 hounds in their deck, so they could easily gain 2 more with those artificers. So I understand why they got it. Here, my artificer comes out. I will go ahead and contest that hound pile. So 2 hounds go down for another hound. I'm going to play this hound to get to my market. And then here, alright, I go for expedition hound. I probably should have bought 2 hounds there, because 3 hounds, my opponent triple range can easily get 3 hounds. That would cause me to lose the hound split. It's not the worst thing to lose the hound split, but I would like to have 5 and not have my opponent have 6 hounds, It just makes it a little bit easier for them to gain province, for instance. Or the more expensive things. They could discard 6 and gain a gold if they want, or just discard 6 hounds and 2 other cards. 2 coppers, for example, and then whisk a droid back, and they get the province very, very easily. I opt for the expedition just to have the draw and make sure I find my imp early, really. And as I expected here, they do empty the hound pile with a combination of artificer gains and then this market plus buy coming in very crucial. Gains the last hound, buys the last hound, and what I presume is going to be an expedition. Nope, not an expedition this time, a silver. I guess they tracked and knew that they needed some money. Alright, so the hounds are out. I have 4 of them. Now, how do we continue building from here? Well, I think it has to be on markets. But before the market, I gain a rogue. Very fancy rogue. Why? Well, I could fish things out of the trash, for one. I don't plan to attack triple range with this. I plan to fish cards out of the trash and then go ahead and upgrade them. So I fish the Exorcist out and it goes right back in. So I pick up a market like that instead of just straight buying the market. A little trickery with the rogue there. I can do it. With the extra draw in my deck, I can definitely manage it. I thought about the second Artificer, but then I thought, alright, pause for a cause here. How is the game going to progress from here now? Well, I think market is going to be the most valuable card, and once the market pile runs, then the estate pile is in danger. Market gives you plus buy and money, so we do have to be wary of that and not fall too far behind on the markets. Not going to buy a second market here, instead going for a second expedition and another silver. Now, the silver there is not necessarily to buy things with. It is to gain another imp. I don't want to have to keep buying expeditions all the time like this. If I had 2 imps in the deck there, I would have felt more comfortable buying market instead of expedition silver. But I don't have 2 imps because we got rid of that exorcist early to, try to catch up on the artificer stuff because we saw it in the middle of the game. So here I'm planning to fish the exorcist out of the bin with the rogue, but not trash it with the upgrade. Instead, use the exorcist to gain me an imp. Alright, so lots of hounds get discarded there for triple range. Looks like an easy market for them. It is an easy market for them. And they get through to the end of their deck here. Artificer again comes out, but I don't think they gain anything with this one. They do have the silver here Remember, they bought a silver last time instead of an expedition, and they judged everything correctly here. They didn't need the draw from the expedition. They drew through till the end of their deck regardless. Discard the last hound. And this, I think, is enough for another market at this point. I'm sure they saw the rogue and thought, well, the rogue is not very helpful to them because they didn't start with the upgrades, right? They started with the artificer. So the rogue isn't really going to do much for them. Unless they want the silver that's in the trash right now. 8 here looks like an easy market expedition for them, or even market silver. It's possible they go for the expedition again. Alright, so we kick off. We will continue along, gain a market for ourselves, discarding 4 hounds and a silver. And here comes the rogue play now. A rogue. So we just draw till the end of the deck here to make sure we draw into the exorcist. We would draw into it anyway, but just to be 100% sure. In case I wanted to upgrade it. Instead, I upgrade my upgrade into a gold. I don't really like that play, but the money is handy. And in fact, here I played this too quickly. I could have even trashed the gold for a ghost. But I thought, alright, at this stage in the game, it's too late for ghost. I would have to gain it now and then play it on the next turn. And then on the turn after that, so 3 turns ahead, I would see the benefit of that ghost. And as we mentioned, with the markets draining so quickly, estates are in danger of piling out as well. And I didn't think the ghost would get around fast enough. And then I want the imp in the deck too, right? Like I said, I don't want to keep buying expeditions all the time. Let me just get some draw and stabilize with that. So notice I kept the necropolis, but I didn't end up using it for the council room. I ended up using it for some rogue tricks here. So I'm glad I kept the necropolis. I think about expedition here, but I want the markets. I want to get at least half the markets. So I take the markets, and I figure with the second imp in the deck, I don't have to worry so much about draw. The deck says, yeah, man, you're cool. I see the imp and an artificer straight away. Okay, so big hand for triple range. 6 of those cards are the Faithful Hounds. Let's see what play they make here. I expect them to gain the last 2 markets. They have to. They can't give me the last 2 markets and then leave that estate pile just wide open for me. Here is where the arena points come into play. When, the end of the game starts to show up, they are 4 points ahead on that. So they are a little bit favored in the end game, or they at least have an advantage going into the end game here. So I do have to keep that in mind moving forward. So they gain, what do they gain? A gold. So they discarded all their Faithful Hounds to gain a gold. Very nicely done. They gain a silver here with the other Artificer and pick up back the discarded cards with the Wisp. 11 is going to be double market for them. So they improve their economy very easily, very, very easily with these 2 Artificers, doing great work for them. That's what happens when you are able to win the Hound split, right? They even have more money than me. 13. They could have trashed this to gain an imp, but I guess they wanted the expedition is why. So 2 markets and an expedition, right? Okay. So 2 piles are out. The estates are there. Can I end the game? I have 5 markets, which are 5 buys. I have my default buy, which is 6. I have a gain from the Artificer, which is 7. And there's one more gain, the upgrade. I have the upgrade, and I have the Necropolis that I held on to for so long. So I can upgrade the Necropolis into an estate, gain 1 with the Artificer, and then buy 6 of them with my markets. That is a line to win, but I need to see the cards in order to be able to do that. And here's where we pause, because here's where you need to think about, can you end the game? So you need to start with the markets, right? You aim market. I think that's totally fine. If there's any chance of you ending the game, it is I have to play all the markets. We just calculated that. There's no trick with upgrading markets or anything like that. All right, so we get to this point now where 2 markets are in the bottom 4 cards. What else is down there? Well, there's an Exorcist and there's an Imp. The Exorcist we don't want to see, right? At the top of the deck. That could be at the bottom of the deck. We would very much like to see our Imp. We would have liked to have seen it already to use it on the Artificer, but We didn't. If we saw the imp already here, the game was done. Because the imp makes guarantees that I draw through the rest of the deck and I see everything that I need to see. And in fact, given that I just told you what the last 4 cards were, I think the win is already in hand. It doesn't matter what I draw here. I have to play the upgrade first in this position, just in case the Exorcist is on top of the deck. And then I have to play the Artificer. That's not true, actually. That is not true at all. The win is not guaranteed here. I just went through the calculation. So for example, if the Exorcist is on top, I play upgrade, I draw into it, trash the Necropolis, gain 1 estate, fine. Then, if I use Artificer, I have to use Artificer at that point because the Exorcist cannot draw. And then I have to gain the estate because I want to get all 8 estates. Artificer has to draw into Imp there for me to win. But even drawing into Imp there doesn't work because I would have played Markets already. I would have played Artificer, I would have played Upgrade. The Imp would be drawn dead straight into Rogues. So I don't want to see the Exorcist followed by the Imp. If I see the Imp followed by the Exorcist, that's fine. And if I see the Markets, I could keep drawing. It's just a matter of where that Exorcist is placed, or rather where the Imp is placed. Right, so it's not guaranteed that I win the game from this position. But I looked at the point situation here. I'm 4 points behind. And Triple Range Merge has the same number of markets as I do. 5 of them, so 6 buys. They just showed me that they had 12 money. So those are 6 estates gone. And they already have the 2 Artificers, which can easily gain 2 estates. They have the pile out on their turn easily, hands down, I think. No problem. I have to try, right? I have to risk it. So let's go. Let's see if we get there. All of this time I spent thinking was about these different scenarios, you know, depending. The only way I get screwed, I think, is if I top deck Exorcist into Imp. I think. If I top deck Market and I go Market, so I upgrade Necropolis, C, Market, Market, and then last Market draws into Exorcist. We might still be okay because then I have all the money and all the buys. I just play the Rogue dead. So really, we don't want that Exorcist to be on top of the deck. I think that is the biggest hindrance there. Just debating on whether or not to take that chance, and in the end, I decide to take the chance. Let me see if I can fast forward to where that happens. Yeah, okay, good. So we upgrade, and we find our Market. So that's fine so far. It wasn't the Exorcist, so we're chilling, and I decide to go ahead and try to pile out. So the Market finds me the Imp, and then that's it. The game is done. So we didn't see the Exorcist straight away there. Right, Artificer discards those hounds, gets the estate back on top, and Imp into Rogue gets me well, just the silver value really from the Rogue to pile out the estates. So we sneak out game 1 there, even after starting a bit poorly. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.